It's me again with another video because it's evident that the president-elect has been formally actually elected by the Electoral College, and it's devastating. I don't think that there's any other word to use. It's devastating. It's devastating that there is so much corruption and dishonesty and hateful rhetoric. But I think the thing that we all have to remember is that these things have existed in America and in the world for a very long time. America's been broken for a long time, since the Civil War. Even segregation was fairly recent. So a lot of that undercurrent that's existed since the states actually united never got healed. And I think that that's something that's really important for us each individually to remember, is that, you know, when you don't get healed and when you don't do the work and when you don't come back from trauma like that, you have generational trauma. We're seeing that obviously in a lot of different cultures where there's been, whether there's been, murder or Holocaust or what we've done with colonialism here in North America with our indigenous people. That has an impact. It has an impact not just in the current generation, it has an impact in the next generation, both from an energetic level and just from an emotional and intelligence level. When we end up in situations where, you know, you're raised in a situation where you're told that this is the reality, you know, that's how racism continues. That's how a lack of education continues. That's how ignorance continues. So that's one thought. The second thought is the system is corrupt. I mean, I don't think that there's any question that the Russians hacked the presidential election. And in that sense, rest in peace, American democracy. But I still choose to have faith. And that's the point of this, is that, you know, we are all here on this planet, and still, I mean, nobody knows why. You know, this has been thousands and thousands of years, billions of years, millions of years that we've been floating through space, and as human beings, we don't know why we're here. We don't even know what we're doing here. So the idea of searching for meaning in a world that feels unstable, the world's always sort of been unstable. I think what we're realizing now is that because of a lot of the posturing and pretending and ego-driven nature of modern society, we have ended up in a place where literally the worst version of a human being is leading the United States of America. And again, this hasn't happened yet. We still have Barack Obama in office, and I am still praying that Barack Obama and the Obama administration will actually hopefully get enough evidence to prosecute Donald Trump. It's the only time I'll say his name because I'd like him to be prosecuted. And if he doesn't, this is where humanity has revolutions. I know that's a scary prospect for a lot of people because we're all, most of us, and this is also part of the problem, that most of us are living in relative comfort while there's parts of our society and community that are not. There are people who have heat and light and food, and there's people in the world who do not. We have broken from our natural cycle of being in tune with the way that nature works. Nature is democratic. When you watch, and it's collaborative, when you watch animals, you know, this is how it works. So we have had this great separation from the powers that be that exist in our world, and we're wondering why things aren't working. And my answer is because we're totally out of sync. I think there's an awakening happening. I feel it. I think a lot of people feel hopeful and optimistic and positivity. But at the end of the day, yes, I know there are powerful people in this world. And yes, I know that those people have a lot of money. But there's also a lot of private citizens now that have quite a lot of money and quite a lot of influence. And I have faith in the goodness of humanity. I have faith in the goodness of humanity because of my own experiences, the work I've done. I did not grow up in a great experience in terms of my own, entry into this world. But I do still believe, based on, regardless of everything that's happened to me in my life, that people are inherently good. And what I've been saying to people is what I'm going to say here, which is when you are born, you do not see babies fighting with each other or toddlers fighting with each other. One of them may hit each other. They may go through that. But if you remember your kindergarten class, most of the kids were kind. And I think that's what we need to remember. Human beings are primarily kind. We have kindness in our hearts, and the hatred and the vitriol and everything that is going on in the last few years, and this us versus them mentality, and the rise of essentially useless celebrity, we have put emphasis on things that are not important. They are not important to our growth as humanity. They are not important to our reasons for being on the planet. We spend more time taking selfies and sitting in front of a computer looking at what other people are doing. And I think why people are feeling so upset and dejected right now is obviously this is a huge disappointment. But corruption has been alive and well in governments for a long time. Politicians are, in their very nature, I mean, we joke around about lawyers, we joke around about, but politicians are known for being fairly corrupt. They answer to a lot of different masters, and we're finding out that a lot of the masters that they answer to are corporations. So the fact that we're in this huge transition as a world, and we're going through the worst time ever in terms of what's going on with our climate, and essentially mass extinctions that are caused by human beings. And we're now in a situation where a dictator has impacted a democratic election. And let's all be honest about what this is about. It is about money and ego and power. And those things are not things you are born with. Those are things we made up. Ego is definitely not something we made up. It exists. It is a part of who we are as human beings, but it should never be leading the charge. The ego is not your amigo. Trust me. I spent many, many, many years in my ego and, with a level of arrogance. That was how I got through things, and it doesn't work as well. And I'm saying that after a good length of time of not operating from that place. I can tell you that if this is a research initiative, I would tell you quite straightforwardly that my life got better as soon as I threw my ego out the window. It definitely still comes up. It still comes into play. It's a part of being a human being on this planet. But what I would ask for everyone who's feeling hopeless and sad and dejected and worried, it's time to rise up. This is the time where we as human beings, we have chosen to be on the planet right now, whether you believe in that side of things or not. I believe that all of the people who are alive on the planet right now have chosen to be here for this awakening, because I do feel that it's coming. And I believe and have enough faith in the average human being that we are all at a point where we're fed up. We don't feel that our views are being properly represented, and it's time to do something about it. It's time to actually fight. And yes, we've all lived in this very comfortable, sort of laid back lifestyle in North America where we can, take the kids to hockey or soccer and, enjoy our lives. And you know what? Things are going to get a little tougher. And I think that that's where we all need to stand together and realize that, generations upon generations prior to us of this generation fought. I think if we all look back at our families, especially within North America, they came to North America because they were searching for better opportunity in places where there was persecution, hatred. We know the story. So now we're in a place where all of our ancestors and family fought for our freedom, and we're all sitting here going, oh, well, this guy's going to be in charge for the next 4 years. No, he's not. If you don't want him to be in charge for the next 4 years, do something. March on Washington. March on your cities. We all need to support the American people right now, because I truly do not believe that the average American person feels the way that this man feels, believes the things that this man is saying. The man is not at a press conference. He's doing apparently like these private drinks that are off the record. This is how propaganda works. It's time for Americans and Canadians and everybody around the world to actually take information into your own hands and talk to people about what's really going on. And I think that if we connect as human beings one-to-one and start listening and understanding and approaching each other with fierce compassion, we can fix this. I truly believe that. I absolutely, truly believe it. And I know that even whether it's within my network or my friends' networks, this is a time for us to come together, and the people who are fighting on the side of what is right and what is true and what is real, those people, and what is light, quite frankly, those people need to keep carrying their torches high. Keep those torches up with your light and with your positivity and with your compassion, because the people who are in the dark need to know who you are, and they need to know that you will help them. And that's what's going to happen in the next few years, I think, unfortunately, is that we are going to have to put our money where our mouths are and do what we need to do to get through this. Because I chose not to have kids. I know a lot of you have kids. They don't deserve this. This is not okay. What is happening is not okay. And if you want to teach your kids one thing, you teach them what it's like to get up and stand up and have integrity for what you believe in, and you show them that every day. And if that means that you go out and you protest and you explain why you're doing it, because those kids deserve a future. My grandfather fought for that. Your grandfather probably fought for that. We've all fought for that. So to sit down now and go, I'm scared. It's fine to be scared, but we got to stand together, because this is not going to get fixed. And yes, it will be a mass extinction if we don't do something. So my best advice is mobilize, connect, start to have conversations, start to talk to your family, stop deleting each other from Facebook, and actually talk about what this actually means. And call your government, who is still in control of your country, and make yourselves heard that this man should be properly investigated, and that this whole situation with what has just happened with American democracy needs to be properly investigated, because it's not. And we can all sit here and complain about it, but at the end of the day, we are millions. I mean, Anonymous says it. We are legion. We are. And from my perspective, and the place that I'm in, my life at this moment, I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to mobilize, I'm ready to start a revolution, and I hope that everybody's willing to do the same, because the world's gonna need it, and that's why we're here. I hope everyone's got a great night, and I was moved to do this again, and I'm thinking about everybody and holding space for everybody. And if I know that a lot of people have actually been reaching out to me specifically this week asking if I have any time to do any healing work, and I always have time to do healing work. It's why I learned to do it. Look at it, it's even little Stevie's here for some healing work. So I'm always here to do that. I'm happy to help anyone in any way I can. But I think the biggest thing right now is to really stay grounded and stay rooted in what is true. And what is true is that human beings, from a very, very deep perspective, are inherently good. And I believe that. I know that. And to have grown up, in the situation I did, I was abused by my own father. So if I can believe that humans are inherently good, you can too. Have a great night. Love you.